You gotta flow, Joe. You gotta flow, Joe. You gotta let them know, Joe. You gotta flow, Joe. You gotta flow, Joe. You gotta let them know, Joe. Beautiful song by Fat Joe. I think it might have been his first single. I know it was his first big single. Way back, more than 30 years ago. Some of y'all may not have ever heard that before. A lot of us know about the lean back Fat Joe, or the Joe that does songs with Remy Ma and Big Pun. But even back from when he first started, heck of a rapper. And for a lot of people that don't know, back in the day, rappers really started at 16, 17 years old. Like Special Ed was like 16. I think Nas was 16 or 17. I think his first album came out at like 18 or 19. So the heavy hitters of rap music back in the day typically started at a young age. I think, even Jay-Z, although Reasonable Doubt didn't come out until he was 26, he started rapping way before that. So he was even in his teens when he started rapping, or even maybe 20 years old. But right now, that's not the point. The point is that now we have another, although we've talked about it a little bit this week, someone else who is now embroiled into a sexual assault issue. So now I believe his former assistant, one of his former, like hype men, TA, and I had been hearing about it for, a few years, a couple of years, even through, just different YouTube platforms. And I know back in the 80s and 90s, there was a lot more, how can I say it, reckless behavior when it came down to sexual issues. And it didn't matter what culture, what color you were, a lot of people were doing a lot of crazy things. But now, of course, because people see that there's more of an opportunity for a money grab, we talked about it before, like even what's going on with Tyler Perry. Now you can add Fat Joe to that list, unfortunately, to people who are coming out. And the irony of this one is that it's actually a guy, like I said, that used to be his hype man, that is coming out to say this, that's talking about him being a predator of children that were 15 and 16 years old. And once again, as you always hear me say, and it's easier because Fat Joe is either my age, I think he's 51 or 50 or somewhere along those lines, maybe 52, is that it's easier now as a person who's a 50-something year old to sit and say to other people, hey, have discipline, have text message discipline, because, a lot of us, especially who haven't gone to jail for any of these things or haven't committed any of these crimes, it's easy for us to say now. But when you're caught up in the storm of this, it has to be an issue. And the thing, like I said, I don't like about it is a lot of these things happened 25, 30 years ago. And although it's still not excusable, believe me, still not excusable. Because even me, I have young daughters. Not excusable. But what I'm saying is that even now in this case, the guy is seeking $20 million. I don't know if that's like a thing, 20 million, 30 million. But he's seeking $20 million. He's not seeking for Fat Joe to be brought to justice, but he's seeking $20 million. Like you've heard me say here before. And it's sad because I know Fat Joe has been married, I think, for over 20 years now, maybe longer than that. Money has become such a detriment to this society that you literally have people doing just about anything. Slip and falls, car accident. And I want to touch on that too, because it was a couple times when I've been in fender benders. Somebody's hit me, hit the car, scraped up the bumper, done stuff. And you know what I've said to them before? At least 2 or 3 times. Go ahead. Don't even worry about it. Go ahead. Don't even worry about it. It may have been about 4 times, honestly. Go ahead. Don't worry about it. Because you know why? Because I'm not going to be at a point, and this even happened when I was younger, when I was in my 20s. So I'm not just even saying this from a 50-year-old guy's perspective. This even happened to me when I was in my 20s. Because what happens is that if there is no real damage, even like with some people, oh, well, your back might be hurting later or something like that. Yes, well, if it's hurting now, of course, go get some kind of treatment. But all of these plays that everybody keeps running, unfortunately, what's going to happen is that it could come back to you. And one day when you want some grace, as far as, you may tap somebody's car by mistake, them not trying to sue you out the rear. That's happened to me before too. Guy, hey, I was willing to give him, he had maybe a quarter size hole in his bumper. So I tried to give him $500 or $600. No, he wanted to go the way by that. I said, all right, well, using my insurance company. Used my insurance company. He wound up taking it to a Ford dealer. They wound up charging $2,700 to repair this bumper. Because you know what they probably did? Went around it and found other stuff that they could repair with my insurance's money. So in turn, there was a mark on my insurance for, I think, 3 years or 4 years. And on top of that, my insurance premiums went up because of that. Because we are so in a society now where there is a money grab. So that's why I told you before, I said in another video, guard your grill, knuckle up. Everybody around, you need to be extremely careful who you let borrow your car, who you're around, who you're texting, who you're sexting. You need to be very, very aware of it. Just take a few seconds, think about it, and think about what the ramifications could be after what you have allowed somebody to do, or you've helped somebody out in a certain kind of way. Because even in the case with this guy, with the guy with Fat Joe, this guy was supposedly wrote some lyrics for Fat Joe. He was definitely one of his hype men or his hype man at a particular time. And, for whatever reasons, it seems like financially it went left. And it also seems as though, and once again, like I always tell you, you can go back to Google or YouTube to do your own research. But the guy was asking for, same thing like with Cassie, was already asking for a payout before it got to this point. So instead of the guy, putting his business out there, Fat Joe's business out there, he wanted to receive, he lawyered up and wanted to receive a payment. That's why I also said early in the week, something with the criminal justice system has to change, or the court system has to change, because once somebody destroys your reputation, and I've worked at a job, it's happened to me before. Once somebody destroys your reputation, it's a hard thing to come back from. It's a hard thing to come back from. And even when you do come back from it, people look at you sideways. Or now people have this thing in your mind like, okay, that person did it once. He did it once. Now, if it happens again, it's not on the person, it's on him. He's the problem. He's the issue. But we have to learn from these types of things and really pay more attention to our own details. Now, of course, none of us can be perfect. None of us can thwart, because most of us, don't have millions of dollars for somebody to sue us for anyway. But just the fact that this stuff is going on a regular basis. I mean, hey, listen, I don't ever rule anything out. Who's to say that this doesn't start, with other people? And although, most of us are not famous, it still is not going to matter to you when you got to, lawyer up or pay $5,000 or $10,000 for a lawyer, and then possibly your freedom. So let's all think, let's all make good decisions, and hey, let's still enjoy life. But look, make sure you're aware of what you're doing, because these lawsuits, not just sexually, but that's why I said anything, cars, loaning money out, borrowing money, just dealing with people, your interactions with certain people, road rage, things like that. Make sure that you think about these things before you start to do it. Even loaning your car out. Think about this stuff before you start to do it. Because if you don't deal with the right people, you can wind up in the wrong situation. But hey, it's only one guy's opinion. Tell me what you think. And while you're thinking about that, just say, live life. Don't let life live you.